You know, today was just like the perfect Sunday. 'Cause every once in a while you just have those perfect days where everything goes like normal. I thought about what is normal, and sometimes I hear people say things like there is no normal, or what is normal. My friend and I discussed that when we were like 12 years old. Came to the conclusion, I'll never forget when he said, normal is what you're used to. And I couldn't agree more. So, normal for each person is subjective, of course, but a nice uh, routine day sometimes can be one of the most rewarding things. I'm sitting here next to this giant, you can't see it because it's dark out, but this giant 5 gallon bucket just full of flowers, lilacs that I picked from the lilac trees in the corner of my yard, and they're just gorgeous, you know. These huge lilac bushes that are over there, and they only bloom for, a couple weeks a year, and so there's like 100 flowers sitting here, and they just smell amazing. I got up this morning, um, went out in the front yard and edged my lawn a little bit, raked up some rocks, watered, fertilized. Then I came out in the backyard and I planted some carrots and some lettuce and some chives and some a couple other things. And then I went in and I took a nap. I laid down. I was just tired. I took a nap. It was one of those perfect naps where you're just incapacitated. Slept for a couple hours just on the couch, kicking back. Waking up now and again to like family noise, my young kids, my older son, my wife, doing their routine things, and it just feels good to just have a normal day. Wake up. Of course, naps aren't normal for me. I think it's the nap that made it an awesome day because I don't usually take naps, but it kind of breaks the day up. And then I got back up, and the neighbors behind us were probably sick of my kids kicking their kickball over into their yard like 3 times yesterday. So they gave us a badminton set that they had in their garage, I guess. It was an old one, but it was all there. And we put it together, and my 6-year-old just loves sports. He just loves playing badminton and soccer and kickball and everything. And it's just funny how unique different kids are, you know. And so that's maybe why I cherish normal, because I'm a family man. And, normal to me is being able to wake up and know my kids are safe, and that, there's not an apocalypse coming down the road tomorrow. Of course, anything's possible. Speaking of that, yeah, I was reading earlier again about the Carrington event and solar storms that have happened in the past, and they happen with surprising frequency, but none are too damaging. But I was reading about the solar kill shot that in 2012, basically there was a huge CME from the sun, coronal mass ejection, and and I have a point to this. Yeah, it missed the Earth by like a week or 9 days. If it had been 9 days earlier, then the Earth would have been hit, and it could have taken down the grids and done $1 trillion or more in damage, taken years to recover, if ever. And I thought of how quickly normal can be changed over to, oh shit, do I have enough ammunition and supplies and food and water to feed my family and defend myself? And how we just take normal life for granted, our daily life. In fact, some people have such boring lives that they create a lot of drama and problems in their own life. We all know people like this, that either that or they go out and seek out. Perhaps some people seek out adventure or adrenaline because they're bored with other hobbies or whatever it might be. I'm just speaking generally here. We are novelty-seeking creatures. So that's why I find it interesting that we seek novelty, but at the same time require stability in order to feel comfortable. At least most of us do. It took me a while to really understand that idea of routine and how important it is to get up in the morning, the old shit shower shave saying, you know. For me, it's not, I don't shower every single day, but generally it would be like a shower and not a shave kind of thing. But you get your shower, you brush your teeth, whatever you do, you drink your coffee, you know, and I don't know, it's just, there's something divine about being able to live, I guess what some would call the simple life. Although it's not exactly simple, is it? I mean, everything's complicated by the system. The very system that, like I said, if there was a major solar event, it would take that system out. The one that we find to be so frustrating, yet the one that allows us to have trucks deliver food to our stores and allow us to go down to the shopping mall and buy what we need when we need or order it online. This whole system of convenience that we live within is perhaps going to be our downfall. But, you know, it is what it is. I guess what I'm saying is embrace it while it's here and enjoy it while you can. I've spoken to a lot of folks who are really hung up on prepping. I was a prepper for a while, and I can honestly say that I understand that mindset. I think, sure, most of you know what a prepper is. It's a person who prepares. But a prepper, you know, by definition, generally is a person who prepares for unforeseen disasters, making sure that him and his family are safe and secure in case of an unlikely event. And I think that that's basic intelligence to me. In other words, what a lot of people would define as a prepper, to me, is just common sense. And you're a fool if you don't prepare. You know, in other words, it's not the preppers that are the fools or conspiracy theorists. Sure, if you spend millions of dollars on a bomb shelter or a bunker underground because you're paranoid about nuclear fallout and it turns out to be a flood instead, that's the old joke I always think of. Build an underground shelter and then get flooded out. You just never know what's coming. Anything's possible. So it's all up here, all in the head, you know, mental preparation for anything. And when you have kids like I do, it's even harder because you want to make sure that they're protected. And you want to make sure that they're safe and they have enough food. And back when I was in my prepper phase, I bought several of these 5-gallon, and you can still get them now. Actually, they sell them normally at like Winco and some of the larger food outlets. It's like a 5-gallon thing of dehydrated food, a variety of different types that are like MRE type sealed meals that are good for up to 20 years if they're kept in the right conditions. You just keep them on a basement floor or a garage floor, you know, at ground level, keep them cool. And they'll last for years. And even if you never use them, even if you spend $500 on dried food that you never eat, just having it there, to me, is, I don't know, it makes me feel safer. And even if that's just an illusion, you know, food's important. We don't, I guess, realize how quickly it could all be taken away. So, we enjoy our routines and our daily normal while we can, when we can, because it's not just some apocalypse that can mess that all up. Anytime you can lose a loved one, you could break a leg, you could go blind. You know, I'm not going to name off the millions of ways that we could die or lose things that we love, but we all live through that, and we all have to cope with it. So when things are really going well, when your family's healthy and you have a job and you're able to pay your bills and roof over your head and you're eating, have some gratitude for that. I mean, I can't say that enough. It sounds obvious, but it's really easy to overlook those gray areas between the extremes, you know. I guess it's kind of human nature to just kind of not really, I guess, acknowledge and have gratitude for what we really have at the moment. It's really hard for us as humans to be truly grateful at all times for what we have. And you know, that's okay. Because as much as we should be grateful for all the great things we have in life, we also kind of shake our fists at God, if you will. Metaphoric, of course. It's the idea that we see the unfairness. I know I've spoken with a lot of people who are of religious nature who tend to try to dismiss this as being, well, I don't get angry at God, or I never get frustrated. Things are the way they are, and we accept them. And, you know, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but the reality is nobody really believes that. Um, if in other words, for the people who think that life is just fine and we should always be grateful and never be frustrated, they're missing the point. It's it's set up to where there's a lot of pain and a lot of anguish we have to get through to get to those gratitude moments. Uh oh, they found me. The evening wind is picking up. I love it. The smell of those lilacs is just divine. Wish I could share. One day they probably will have smell-o-vision of some sort. Like, you know, it sounds ridiculous now, but you'll be watching a video and you'll be able to have like these sensors that will allow you to smell what the other people smell. Smelling is amazing. I want to just kind of go off topic for a minute here, you know. They don't quite understand how we smell. They know that we inhale, sense, and then they fit like keys to a lock within these some sort of a sensor within our noses, within our we, you know, in other words, other animals have different keys that fit different locks. Therefore, they can smell more things or less things. In fact, you know how dogs sniff each other's butts? Well, they don't smell poop. The dogs have two different noses, if you will. They shut off their external smeller and they turn on just their pheromone smeller, so to speak. And so what they're smelling is the other dog's anal glands and all that. Sorry to get graphic, but dogs have two different noses and they smell other smells and they can distinguish between the two. We have that same kind of ability, but I thought it's much more mild. You know, we can smell each other's pheromones, but we don't even realize it. And that's why it's funny, you know, when you smell your wife or husband's hair, or even your kid's hair. It's funny as it sounds. Kids have a very specific smell. Your people, each individual has a different smell, and these just pheromones and body smells are. It's interesting how we perceive those things and how they make our minds affect our minds. Yeah, that's a subject I'd like to get into in a future video, especially terpenes, which are like the smells that are in cannabis, in spices, in, you know, fruits and vegetables. The smells of myrcene and terpenes like pinene, alpha pinene, and pine needles, and um, the smell of clove and pepper. All of these things affect our brains in different ways, and according to what's normal to us, I guess, in our experience in life and what we associate those smells with, a certain combination of smells can bring back an entire scene from our youth. And anyhow, to stay on topic, what is normal? I don't know, and I don't care. I just try to keep things normal for the moment, you know. Well, I'll tell you what's been normal for me lately is having really weird dreams. And I've been having apocalypse dreams for years, but it's I mentioned it in a recent video, but last night I had one of the craziest ones. So I was sitting in this kind of desert area by this farmhouse with this like open garage with a bunch of furniture and stuff tossed and turned in it. And we're looking over at the horizon. There's storm clouds everywhere in the sky except for just parted over on the horizon a little bit where the sun is just getting ready to set by the mountains. There's a mountain range. And as soon as it starts to peek out of the clouds, the sun literally blinks out and turns off. It's the second time I've had a dream that the sun turned off. And the minute that happened, the very second that happened, lightning on the horizon just struck down at all of these crazy, forked, you know, amazing dendritic patterns, huge lightning bolts miles away. And we started to see them come down the mountain and above us too. And we said, run, and we all ran. And I remember I was with my wife and we were trying to get underneath and pull this couch over us so we could hide and ride out the storm. In the dream, it was normal. It was what I expected to happen. And that's why to me dreams are so crazy, because in your daily life, your routines and normal things are completely different from your dream world if you have crazy dreams like that, like I do. And when I was younger, I went through a phase years ago where I was into lucid dreaming, and I was really into learning to fly and controlling my dreams. until I realized I was kind of interfering with the natural process of my dreams, so I just kind of stopped doing it. But I have a huge long dream journal and a bunch of recordings, and I I had a lot of weird dreams back then, a lot of strange apocalyptic dreams. But I had quit smoking cannabis at the time, and I believed that it, even though the dreams were enhanced, I was always under the impression that I didn't really remember my dreams because I smoked cannabis. But recently, that's been proven completely wrong because I still smoke cannabis, even more, as much as I guess I ever did in the evening anyway. And I still have these wild, crazy dreams. So really, it's a matter of what time of night you have them and when you remember them. But isn't it strange to wake up in the morning and in your dream realize that everything was normal? It was just what you expected in the dream. It's as if you had a different self, a different identity that changes from dream world to dream world. And it's very strange. I don't get it. I think it's interesting as hell. I might think the dreams were almost a real place. A lot of ancient cultures believed that they were kind of places we visited in the cosmic realm, but fever dreams kind of discount that. To me anyway, fever dreams to me show that the mind is completely disconnected. I can be in a place, going down a tunnel, repeating this pattern over and over and over during these fever dreams when you're sick or you've had food poisoning or something. And those dreams, they're like fragmented, and it's, I don't know. In other words, the more coherent you are, if you really want to have crazy dreams, don't get too high before bed. Don't take melatonin or any type of sleep aid. Those things are horrible anyway. And make sure, cannabis of course is different, but if you're going to smoke it, don't smoke a whole lot right before bed if you want to remember your dreams. And don't eat a lot of junk food at night, or even a lot of food after 6, 7 p.m. because when you're digesting, I don't know, for me it can give me night sweats and I don't dream as well. So anyhow, this video has been about dreaming, about normalcy, about life. I guess I just kind of wanted to ramble. It's been a while since I've done a Carpo After Dark video. And I like talking about stuff like that. It kind of gets it off my mind. It's jibber jabber, jibber jabber. I had a few things I wanted to say too about, I don't know, I had a separate video I was going to do earlier before I fell asleep, but talking about how, I don't know. Yeah, we'll get to that another time. I guess I'll leave this as tonight's video. I hope you all have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and have gratitude for when things are normal. Because when things are normal, that's when things are the best. We're going to have high times. Hell yeah. We're going to go out and we're going to have some fun. We're going to travel. We're going to go to concerts, whatever we do. And we're going to have low times too. But if we sit and fret about not always being in the high times, or we dwell on the low times, then we're missing the now. And that's really what being present is, and why it's called the present. So, be well, my friends, and talk to you soon. Peace.